here in North Hartford, and we're just talking about why Community First got started.
Well, I've been in education for about 30 years, and one of the things I noticed, having worked in more affluent suburban neighborhoods, but also urban neighborhoods, that was tremendous inequity in education. I wanted to work with the community to do our part together to try to end that inequity.
And what were some inequities?
When I started teaching in Hartford, I recognized very soon that we had an incredible group of students, very intelligent, very hardworking, incredibly resilient, but the narrative was not that way. Something didn't seem to make sense to me, and I wanted to just try to figure that out.
Yeah, so it seems like you're talking about higher level and everything. I feel like you're going to push the students to really keep up with their education, really push them to the limit.
I looked at the data, saw that about 85% of the students in North Hartford neighborhood elementary schools were not on grade level.
Oh, wow.
And then as I followed students into middle school, I noticed that the average GPA was around a 1.7. When I was principal at one of the area high schools, and I'll never forget the day that I got the National Clearinghouse data. I was sitting at my desk and I noticed that about 30% of our students went to college, but less than half of them finished their first year. So as I saw that data, I said, something is definitely wrong. You know, if the fish in the pond are sick, you don't blame the fish. There's something wrong with the pond.
That's true.
And we have too often blamed the students, the parents, or the community itself, when the reality is there's something wrong with the system.
So what is it about the system that you noticed in your years of education?
You know, bottom line is education is one of the areas in this state and in this nation where I think racism is still alive and well. Take, for instance, standardized testing. The root of standardized testing in this country was back in the early 1900s when eugenics was very popular. And at that time, those who developed the IQ test were actually looking to prove that white populations were smarter than black populations. When you think about that, and now you think about how we use standardized testing today, we know that our students aren't prepared. We know that they're not on level. We have a system that doesn't put them on level, but we test them anyway. Can you imagine if you were a swim instructor and you didn't teach the children how to swim, but then you threw them in the deep end? What do you think would happen? They wouldn't swim. We're doing the same thing. We know our students aren't ready. We have an educational system that's not getting them ready, but we test them anyway. Then we come up with an achievement gap. And the narrative around the achievement gap is that our students aren't smart, or they're not capable, or they're not doing as well. Well, we created the conditions to get those test scores. So if you really want to look at the standardized testing, it should not be incriminating students, it should be incriminating the system.
Where else do you see structured racism in our system?
You know what? I look at chronic absenteeism as a perfect example. We have created a system that doesn't allow students to succeed. We teach our students to be pacified, to comply and perform at a very low standard. And then we direct them and place them into low-wage service jobs or perhaps even incarceration. Now, if that's what the system is doing, then why would anyone want to be in it?
Exactly.
So we create this system that no one wants to be in when the students don't show up because they know there's no purpose, they know there's not a lot of hope, they don't have a great trajectory. Then we say, oh, they don't want to come to school. So chronic absenteeism was created by our system, but then it's used to incriminate our students and families. This just has to stop. This is really why we're doing Community First School. And I want to do my part with folks in the community who see this problem to make it better.
It seems like Community First is going to operate outside of the system that you're talking about. So can you explain to me how that's going to happen?
Sure. So we have to be independent because one thing I recognize, having been in the education system for so long in my career, that it's not going to change. It's not going to change anytime soon. There's no desire for people to make it change. So much money funnels into the system every year. There's no real push for change. The changes are surface level. They're not really attacking the structured racism that exists. So we have to be outside the system. We have to fund our own selves. We have to raise money from people in the community, people outside the community who understand what's going on. And we have to have the autonomy to not bring those structured racist practices in. I want our school to be strictly anti-racist. I want every child to have an opportunity.
How are people able to give if they feel the same way you do and very strong as you do?
Right. Well, our website is the Avenue. So you go to communityfirstschool.org. You can donate there. You can enroll a student there. You can become a volunteer there, and we need volunteers. We want people from the community in the school. The community has the potential and the power to run a great school. We're going to start with kindergarten and first grade, but we want to serve the whole family.
Okay.
So it's moms, dads, aunts, uncles, grandma, brother, sister. We want everybody to be part of our school. We want to be like a family, in the best sense of the word. That's why we're called Community First School.
Yep. Build the family up together.
So come to our website, check it out, help us out. Look forward to everyone coming together to make this a success.
Perfect. And what's the website so we can check it out?
Again, communityfirstschool.org.